Yo, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your main man, juggernaut of multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz.
Arkatech Beatz.
Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Welcome to the music production and beat making tutorial series. We're on every night around 9-ish or 9-something-ish. And yo, we get on, we make these beats in the middle of the night. And then we also help folks learn their music business. We're answering questions. We're just trying to do what we do, man. We're trying to make it go like it needs to go. So listen, if it's your first time here, make sure that you're commenting. Make sure that you're liking the live. Make sure that you're sharing the live and doing all that good stuff. Because listen, we're here to really make a crazy ill impact on it. You know what I mean? So I got a sample in here. And every night I load up some samples. I do sample-based joints on the MPC 2000. I'm sorry, MPC X SE. I'm talking about my old joint, the MPC 2000 XL. Shout out to all the people who got veterans with that. So let me just get myself ready to go here. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that we can get into this live. Hopefully people are getting into the live. I got a sample here. Rocking with this. Rob Stock, let's go, man. Shout out to everybody that's joining the live, man. I've been doing this joint for almost 42 days straight, man. Trying to see how long we can go with it, you know what I mean? Richard, what up? I got the sample in here. We're gonna get these hats in here, these hi-hats in. Let's lay that down, let's go. Shout out to everybody that's joining the live, man. We about to make it do what it do. It's your main man, juggernaut of Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Multi-platinum producers, Big Pun, Nas, Jadakiss, The Game, Raekwon, the Chef. Let's go. Killer Mike, Freddie Gibbs, Saha the Prince, man. Waka Flocka Flame, man. Maya. Let's go. Let's go. Make sure y'all liking the live, sharing the live, man. Make sure y'all liking the live, sharing the live, man. We just added an open hat. We're gonna add a snare to this before we get busy, you know what I mean? Let's go. If it's y'all first time here, man, make sure y'all following, man. Liking the live, man. Let's get this algorithm going. Send me them gifts, man. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Go. Now we're gonna spice it up a little bit. Let's go. Try it again. I think I want something different. Not that, not that. We don't want to do it like that. We want to do it different. Hold on. Anthony, what up?
Arkatech
Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to everybody that's liking the live. Dawn, what up? I see you. Jamie, go to arkatechbeatz.com. Let's get the bass line in here. I'm gonna try that. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Make sure y'all liking. Make sure y'all sharing the live. Hitting that like button. We just pitched it up one. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. If it's your first time here.
Arkatech Beatz.
Every night we get up, we cook up some live beats So listen, I'm gonna hold that right quick. I'm gonna hold that one. I want the chat to give me a name for that one. I'm gonna move on to something real quick because I just got to do that. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. If it's your first time here, man, like I said, I'm Juggernaut Arkatech Beatz, man. Multi-platinum production group. Big Pun Nas, Prodigy of Mobb Deep, Raekwon the Chef, RZA. Who else? Everybody. Max B, you name it, we done did it. Rob Mully, what up? So listen. It's about to go crazy tonight. Like tonight is gonna be a crazy night, man. I just want people to know it's gonna be a crazy night. So I need a whole bunch of likes tonight. I need a whole bunch of super chats tonight. I need a whole bunch of roses, gifts, hearts, whatever it is. We need a whole bunch of that because we're gonna spaz on them tonight, all right? Let's go. Come on, we gotta go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Listen. So boom bap night tonight. Let's go. ready? Let's go. Ready? I'm ready. I see you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Get some effects on this right here. We gotta get this to go. You know what I mean? We gotta make it do what it need to do. Do I use a stem? I use a stem separator. Yeah, all the time. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Here, what up? Shout out to everybody that's in the live.
Arkatech Beatz.
Listen, it's a boom bap night tonight, yo. Make sure y'all sharing this live. My bad, bro. Do I have any recommendations starting out? Listen, if you can't get right into this box, because I would recommend that, but if you can't get right into it, I recommend folks start off with FL Studio. You know what I mean? I think it's the easiest platform to learn. Thomas is like, what exactly is boom bap? Boom bap, ba-doom, boom bap, boom boom bap, boom boom bap. That's how they call it boom bap. Let's go. Bap, boom bap, boom bap. That's why they call it boom bap. Let's go. Yo, shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Appreciate you, brother. Listen, we're here every night, man. So if you decide to get an NPC, you know we do the tutorials every night, man. Let's go. Share the live. check this out now. What we're gonna do now is this, right? Pardon me. Let's go into the next part of this beat. So look, we're gonna go into the next part of this beat, right? So I need to get this hook and this verse going pretty good. That's weird. Okay. So we got this going. Let's save this real quick. So we're gonna go to gonna add some EQ on this. Alright, we got that going, and then we're gonna add one more thing here. Okay, what's that? 50, 20, 50, 20, 50, 25. Gotta remember your settings, because I'm gonna add it to the other sound. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Listen, I got you. Listen, if it's y'all first time here, man, make sure y'all sharing the live. Alright, now, let's copy the sequence over. It's gonna be the hook. Then I gotta do this mute groups. Let's do that. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Check this out now. Now what we're gonna do here is we're going back to the program edit. Now this part of the sample is gonna be our hook. All right. So what I'm doing now is I copied the sample to another pad. I'm gonna have one pad cut off, and then when the hook comes into the other one, let's see what we got here. 190. All right. All right, so this is gonna be our hook. Y'all ready? notice the second part of the sample got a string. Alright, so we got the sample on 2 different pads. And what I did is I went into the program and I changed the parameters where it basically has a mute target, right? So basically pad D1 is going to mute pad D2, and D2 is going to mute pad D1. So now they don't play simultaneously. So when I switch between the hook and the verse, one cuts off the other. We don't have any problem. We don't have any overlap. It's a smooth transition as long as you have the price, as long as you got it cut at the right place. Let's go. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Listen, make sure we liking the live, sharing the live, man. Shout out to the new followers, man. Chad, I still need a name for the first beat. So if you wasn't here, I'm gonna play back the first beat, but I need a name. Rob, what up? It's a Wednesday night, man. You're cooking up. It's a boom bap beat tonight, man. Let's go. Hit that like button, man. Sending them roses, let's go. It's your first time here, man. Like I said, man. It's Arkatech Beatz, man. Big Pun, Nas, Jadakiss, Prodigy, and Mobb Deep. Raekwon the Chef, RZA, Freddie Gibbs, Sahar the Prince, Killer Mike, The Game, Meek Mill. And every night we get together, we cook up, and we answer people's questions on how to get into this crazy music business. Let's go. hook in. 3, 2, 1, bring the hook in. Let's go. Rich, I'm thinking it should be. It's two different samples, and it's basically the same tempo and possibly the same key. But I just heard these two samples, and as I say, I want to keep it in the same lane, um, just the same lane tonight. Nothing too crazy. I didn't want to go, off into too much of a tandem. The other beat just kind of, it just got that vocal sample that I just thought that was dope, and then of course it got a bass line in it that we can kind of run with it. But yo, shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. I see some people asking some questions. I see some new faces. Yo, shout out to Rob, man. Thank you for the super chat, man. Rob Ultra. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate everybody that's sending the gifts, sending roses, sending likes, sharing the live. Appreciate everybody on that. Listen, we're here every night, man, and I'm here to help folks get into this music business. It's a thing, man. I want people to really understand that it's not too late to start. Shout out to my man NY the artist. He had a post where he was basically like questioning himself, where it's like, yo, he's going live and he's streaming and he's posting content, and he got a lot of self-doubt because he comes from the era where everything needed to be perfect before you came out. Like, you couldn't put anything out if it wasn't absolutely perfect. It had to be the best thing, or else people gonna clown you or whatever. And he said he had to kind of get over that fear, and I just really hit him up in his comments, and I was telling him like, yo, man, like, what you're saying is really accurate, and I've been telling people a lot about that we're not looking for perfection anymore. We're looking for progress, right? We're not looking for perfection in this. And what happens is people want to scare you out of really showing the world your gift. You got to kind of get into this thing. You got to show people what you got. You can't be afraid to post the content. You can't be afraid to try, right? And that's really the main thing with this, man. Is that it's something that everybody can develop and get better at, but it just takes time and dedication, man. So you can't be afraid. You just got to jump in. People who want to learn how to do the music production, that's what we're here to help. If you're an artist and you're trying to get in, we're here to help. If you need to learn your music business, we're here to help. You know, that's what it is. And we're creating a platform just for that. It's going to be a big resource, not just to develop the next wave of artists, the next set of better artists, but also, you know, we're trying to get people to really understand what's happening in this music business so we're no longer being taken advantage of. So I encourage everybody to share the live, subscribe to the YouTube, make sure that you follow it, hit the notifications when we go live. We go live sometime between 9 and 10. You know, as I, you know, get a little bit better in terms of preparation, I'm gonna make sure that we're getting on time at 9 o'clock sharp, like a television program. Does anybody watch TV anymore? Rich, I see you. So let me tell you, Damager, it's something that I used to watch with No ID. And shout out to No ID, man, because true story time, right? Let me tell you a story. When Mike first started working at Loud, you know, he was in the mailroom, then he was doing street team. And then as we started to put the beats in, we used to make these cassettes. Every week we get together, we go through all our beats. We go through all of our beats, we mix them, and we made a tape. And I had the little tape. I had the little, you know, inkjet printer. I would put a red label on it, you know, Infinite Architects. I'd have the songs 1 through 10, you know, just to have the right presentation. Put a little cover on it, call it Bash Music. So we used to have Bash Music Volume 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. He'd take it in the office, and if anybody remembers the old Loud record office, it used to have this listening room that used to have the stereo system, big ass speakers, and then people would go in there and play all their new music, all the new artists, you know, Cellar Dwellers, Alcoholics, Mobb Deep, Wu-Tang, whatever, right? So he would go in there, he'd be playing some of the beats, and he said, what's his name? Heard one of the beats, like Havoc, heard one of the beats, like, yo, you onto something, you got something, right? And I'm like, all right. So then, you know, that's when people start kind of getting wind of him doing, you know, being able to, you know, produce. And then when Pun heard Capital Punishment off one of those tapes, that's how that kind of came to be. But in the meantime, when we was trying to get better, Mike used to make copies of the producer's tapes. So he used to make like copies of like Rockwilder's tapes, copies of like No ID. So No ID used to have I kid you not, No ID used to have he used to have the cleanest mixes on his joints, man. Like, this is the time, the Common era, when he was exclusively producing Common at the time. And like it was just banging. Everything was just banging. And we used to go back to the lab and we would be scratching our head and we would be listening to it. Like, how does he get it this loud? Like, how does he get it to bump like this? And it was just a science experiment for us to figure it out. But with something that No ID has said something recently, but in regards to not overworking your beats, he says he just lays down the idea, right? So sometimes you don't need to get caught up in like, yo, you know, like normally I'll be like, I'm gonna lay down this and I'm gonna make the beat. I'm gonna take the hook. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Don't do that. Just lay down the idea. You know what I mean? Record your content and you're doing the idea, and then you just put it out there. Now, if you get enough interest, then you go and you finish it. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you quote unquote really have to, you know, you can just, you can continue to just lay down your ideas. And I think that's what people have to really get into with this MPC, man, is that it starts to become a chore when you have to make the track, mix the track, blah, blah, blah. Like, yo, just create the music, man. Create the idea. Let people hear the idea. If people is feeling the idea, then we go back, we complete it. You know what I mean? Absolutely, man. Remember, what we're doing is we're putting it out for people to give us data, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we trying to see the feedback. And don't get it wrong, sometimes you might get 1 like, 2 likes, you know what I'm saying? If you go to the TikTok, my TikTok page, TikTok got me blacklisted. I don't know what going on my TikTok. Like, I don't know what's going on my TikTok. My TikTok looks like, because I don't want to do a TikTok shop, you know what I'm saying? They done, like, they throttle me or something, whatever. It's cool. But, there's mad low views on it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not worried about that, because we're not worried about the view count. We're worried about the quality of the view, We're worried about the people that people that's watching it really messing with us, you know what I'm saying? And don't get caught up in that, man. People get caught up in the follower count, man. It's not about the follower count, man. It's not about the count, man. It's about the quality of the person that's following, man, that they really rocking with you, man. See, like how I can see my people that's really rocking with me. Shout out to Hero, you, Damager, you know what I'm saying? Rob Mully, you know what I'm saying? Rob Ultra, Born Ready. I see the people who's really rocking. They coming in night after night. They learning, they asking questions, and I'm here to provide the resource, you know what I'm saying? But I'm starting to see that tighter community. They communicate with each other in the chat. And listen, once I get the other platform together, it'll take me about a month to get it together, and then you'll see Mike more often than that. Then y'all gonna really see what we offering, and you're gonna be like, man, you're never gonna believe that there's this type of resource on the internet. The stories, man. Not even like, yo, and I tell folks this too. I'm like, listen, it's like, I've seen a whole lot, and people be like, well, what do you mean you've seen a whole lot? You got to realize where I come from. I come from a spot in the BX. It's crazy, man. Like, it's wild. And when I tell folks, like, listen, like, folks will see me on the live, and they'll be like, yo, they'll be making, they make their comments, and they'll say certain things. But I got to tell them, like, yo, where I'm from, it's absolutely aggressive, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come from a place where I see my ex-girlfriend get shot in front of me, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, we come from real traumatic places, you know what I'm saying? I see another friend get shot, you know what I'm saying? Like, we come from places where it's like it's real, like, you know what I mean? So you have to realize, like, music helped me to escape that. Like, music helped me get out of the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it helped me to get out of that. So it helped me to see something different, see something bigger. It helped me to kind of evolve my mind. You got to realize where we coming from. We coming from real, like, I call it like a science experiment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people put us in these environments to see who's going to make it out. So what I'm trying to tell folks is, listen, man, the same way you see a person like me that could evolve, and that's what I tell folks, I'm evolved. They say, what would you talk about? Like, yeah, what you, if you knew me in the 90s, you'd be like, man, you couldn't believe it. Like, yo, I've evolved. I've been able to see things, and now I'm able to take those experiences, give it to other people, and be like, listen, this is what's going on. Make sure you educate yourself. That's really the main thing, is educating ourselves, because that's how they beating us. They're hiding the information. Job Corps, man. Listen, the MPC, you can do everything you want in the MPC, man. MPC X, bang bang. If you ain't had the music, man, streets was calling, man. I tell folks that, man. Them streets calling. You see it, like those streets was calling young people, but you can't. You just a product of your environment. Like real talk. I think the main thing for me was just I didn't want to embarrass my parents. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that little thing in my head was like, yo, don't embarrass your parents, man. You could do whatever you want to do outside, but just don't let it come back home. Like just don't let it come back home. Don't let it. Don't embarrass your parents, man. And right now, these kids don't really got much shame, man, and I think that's really part of the issue. Bang Bang is asking, do I have any free beats on YouTube to rap over? No, I don't have any free beats, my brother. I've sold millions of records, my brother. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying? People have to be able to invest in what they want to get into, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge advocate for that. And then once you start to invest in yourself, trust me, people are gonna help you. Also, Dominique, man, if you go to arkatechbeatz.com, we have a studio gear list, man, for people who are trying to get into it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to make sure that you just check out our gear list, and you can see the things that we're telling people to get into. Is there a big difference between the Live 2 and yes, there is a little bit of a difference. So remember, the Live 2 is portable, man. It got a battery, you can move it around. It got its own speaker, right? Also, there's a difference in outputs. Inputs rather. Like so me, I can run a microphone into here, and then like with an XLR, and then I can use that as an output. But listen, man, I think it's all about your budget. And if your budget allows you to get the bigger machine, that's what I would get. If you're a person that wants to have more mobility, then get the Live 2. In a perfect world, you know what I'm saying? In a perfect world, and this is probably where I'm leaning to as well, I may wind up with both. Because when I go on vacay with the kids, I gotta have something, you know what I mean, to make sure I can continue to go live. Rob said he got both. How TikTok know I was just listening to Max B? Why you do that? I thought I told you before. Yo, I was 15. I was 15, and in New York, fireworks is banned. You know what I'm saying? So what me and my guys used to do is we used to go down to they used to call it Chinatown, Canal Street, whatever. I used to get fireworks from down there, bring it back uptown, sell the fireworks. So I went down with a bunch of my peoples. I'm 15, bought maybe like $100 worth of fireworks because I used to work with my pops who gave me a little bread, whatever. Went down, bought all these fireworks. All we bought was like M80s and Blockbusters. That's all the fireworks we bought. All we bought was explosives. So now on my way coming back uptown, we get, for whatever reason, we had the bag open. One of my mans had the bag open, was counting the fireworks. We pull up in Union Square. There's police on the platform. They see us counting it up. They snatch us up. They basically arrested me, whatever. But because I was 15, they had to pretty much kind of like write me a ticket, they called my older sister. She told my parents. I came home. My mom's told me to go in the back to the garage and go talk to my pops. And my pops asked me, the first thing my father asked me was like, hey, how did you get caught? He ain't asked me what I was doing, he just asked me how I got caught. And then after I told him what happened, he said, listen, man, if you're going to do something wrong, make sure you do it right. So the moral of the story is, always do it the right way, man. Whatever direction you choose, man, always go the hardest and be the best at it. Can't play any throwbacks because they got copyright. I need a name for that beat, chat. You ain't hear this one? And this is the second beat we worked on tonight. We'll back with tonight. Yeah, this had a nice pop to it, right? It's that last part where they go that doom 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 doom. Now this one named itself, right? 50 Cent. String going. Let's go. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to save it. I didn't save the beat yet. Can you imagine on there for an hour I saved the beat? Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Shout out to everybody that shared the live, liked the live. Shout out to the new followers, man. For people who are really trying to get into this live business. Listen, this live streaming thing, man. I ain't really realized what I was getting into, so when I got into it. Yeah, listen, anything can happen, man. Power could go out, anything. Soothing your sanity, man. Thank you for the rose, man. Rob also, thank you for the super chat. Born ready, thank you. Let's go. I want to try to do. I want to try to do a stem separation. See if I can get it separated from the bass, from the lead. Love that, man. When I first heard that sample, man, I was in here dancing. I was jumping around. I said, "Damn, how you hear that?" I was like, "Man, like when you get like when you get a dope sample, it's like winner chicken dinner." It's like you be wanting to go crazy. You be like, "Man, I can't believe this." Yeah, people don't hear this. Like, I hear this. Like this is going crazy right now. You know, and it's just a matter of putting the right drums to get it to the right speed. You know what I mean? Because where it starts is not where it has to end. You know, you have to kind of figure out what's going to get it to the right groove. Shout out to everybody that's jumping on with me on a Wednesday night. It's minutes to 11. Kids are out of school. Damn. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle with them kids out of school, man. My God, it's been a struggle. Trying to keep them occupied for the day. So we've been trying to go through like just different stuff, man. Trying to go through FL Studio a little bit. Trying to make them work through their Canva and all of that. PowerPoint stuff. Trying to let them learn different things. I know they're young, but you gotta just let them learn the stuff that you know they need to know. Y'all any questions about the music business tonight, man? What's happening, y'all? You know, no question on that. Shout out to Ebony Burks. What's up? That's the homie. Y'all need to go check her out, man. She's one of the dopest songwriters out there. Shout out to her. And I'm just waiting for this thing to do my stem separation. It's how do I like the new MPCs over the old ones? Yeah, the newer MPCs to me, man, they're the best combination. Like, you know how people want to use software? Like you want to use software. That's why people like FL Studio and Serato and all of that. In my opinion, this is the best of both worlds. Like the software that's in the hardware makes it feel like I'm using software, but it's hardware. You know what I mean? So that's what I like the most about the new MPCs versus the old ones. The old ones, like you got to realize that we got a monochrome screen, and it's very, very much hardware. You know what I'm saying? This one now, I can copy, I can paste. You know, like that. That's really software. You know, software in the hardware. You know what I mean? So it's really the best of both worlds. So it's giving me my stem separation now. It's basically separating the sample from the bass and everything. So we're about to see, you know, how clean it does it. Because sometimes it's not clean. All right, let's see what it did first. It's all right. It's not really clean, but it's all right. It's workable. It's definitely workable. So it's like so essentially what it did is it gave me a high pass filter. It took out the vocal though. It definitely took out the vocal, which is it's probably a good thing, right? I could probably do some variation without the vocals. Yo, the stem separation, man, is really based on how good the sample fidelity is. If the sample fidelity is no good, man, that's not the stem separator can't help you. You know, and I noticed that. Like it's all based on the quality of the input. You see when you play them together, it's not clean. It's like it's kind of muddying it up. I mean, you can get away with it, but you'd have to be in here EQing the crap out of it or chopping it up. Dominique asked how many kids I got. I got 2 kids, man. 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, man. And don't ask me why it took so long to have these damn kids, man. We could have had these kids a long time ago. We could have had these. Think about it like this: we could have had these kids in '99. That's when we could have had these kids. I'd have been done. I'd have been finished. Get my life back. Be on vacation somewhere. And then, you know, when you're chasing the music business, it never felt like it was the right time. It never felt like the right time. Like just when it's like, man, we got him now. Like, nah, it's not the right time. I just started working with Ray. I'm on the road with Ray. I can't stop now. Okay, do this. Nah, I can't do that. We just did Nas. I can't. Nah, do it now. Nah, we just got to the source. Nah, I can't do it now. Nah, it's like, nah, I'm just in the Source magazine. Nah, I can't do it now. You know what I mean? Like, oh, nah, we just did the game. Nah, we can't do that. So, like, it was never really the right time. And before you know it, you're out your 20s. You're almost out your 30s. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, like, so in my brain, I'm like, it's a good thing that my wife is younger than me. It ain't never the perfect time, man. That's why I'm telling folks, man, it ain't never the perfect time, man. But the only thing that's perfect is when you're out here working. Let as long as you're out here working, you're doing something, the chips will fall where they gotta fall, man. That's the main thing, is just to keep busy, keep consistent, keep following your goals, like create the goal and keep it going. Keep it moving, you know what I mean? For those folks who haven't gotten any of the books yet, man, make sure y'all copying the books, because what I'm seeing happening is I'm seeing a lot of folks talking about music publishing, and there's a lot of, we had a conversation the other night about master recording rights and master recording royalties, and what should producers be entitled to, and and you just don't want these subjects to go over your head. These things are very important in terms of what's going to be your bottom line. And when you start getting access to your portals as an active producer, when you start getting your portal access, and you start having to see different things that's going on, you have to be versed on on what you're seeing, to make sure that you can determine that you're not being defrauded, because they will defraud you. The job of the royalty department is not to tell you that you're being defrauded. They actually can't tell you that they're defrauding you. They can't actually tell you that there's a discrepancy. It's against their policy. If the royalty department tells you that there's a discrepancy, they'll lose your job. So you have to be able to read your statements. You have to be able to understand what you're getting. You have to be able to understand your contracts. So listen, Hero Beats is on TikTok. He's asking, what's the typical amount of points a producer can ask for on an album? Okay. Old school, 3%, right? 3 points. Then you get an escalation, maybe a point for when it goes gold, and another point for if it goes platinum, and then if it goes multi-platinum, then you get another point, right? Now, when your lawyer's negotiating that, you have to make sure that you put the escalations amounts for album sales and not just single sales, right? Because I had a situation where we thought that because the album went platinum, that we were going to get bumps, and it was never contracted like that. It was contracted only for singles. So if my record wasn't a single and didn't go platinum, we weren't entitled to the escalation, even though the album might have gone platinum. So you have to be very careful about that. Now, that's old school. Okay? 3 points and all of that, that's old school. Because remember, 3 points is based off of a $20 or $18 CD, right? So 3% of, what's 3% of $20? Somebody do it in the math, do the math in the chat, right? To do the 3% of $20. And you can see basically that's what looks like your royalty, right? So it's a little bit different when you're looking at $20, but you don't want 3% of 0.003 cents. Right? You don't want 3% of 0.003, right? So this is so imagine us now coming from the era of physical copies going into streaming, not having provisions for streaming, but the labels was real slick about putting this type of language in their contracts it's called a new technology clause. And basically they're saying that whatever's in this contract will carry over to any new technology, right? Can you imagine now them putting that clause and saying that it covers streaming? All right? So I'll go on and I continue. So for producers now, you should be looking to get 20%. You should be looking to get anywhere between 10 to 20% of the producer royalty on these things, and that's to basically kind of make you whole for streaming. Now you're gonna have some artists that's gonna push back against that, and then you got some artists that don't push back at all, right? Some artists are like, yeah, man, take the 20%, right? Because we're talking about 20% of 0.003. Right? So, you get a little bit of something. If your record does 1 billion streams, you'll do okay. But you can't ask for the typical 3% or 3 points like we used to. Like those days was over with. So you have to ask anywhere between 10. They say 10% of net. 20% of net, 10% of gross. And also what's very important here, right, for producers, like remember I'm telling you guys, as producers, make sure you're dropping your projects, right? You have to drop your projects. You got to drop instrumental projects. You have to build up a little bit of your following, right? You have to do that because you will not have any leverage without it. When you ask for something, they'll just tell you, nah, take it or leave it, because they're going to feel like you're not bringing any other exterior value to the release of the record. What you want to be able to say is that, hey man, I got X amount of followers, I can help promote the joint, and also you want to try to see if you can get collaboration credit. You know what I'm saying? So sort of like how you might see a Metro Boomin and Future, like you want to see if you can get collaboration credit on a record. You know what I'm saying? If you look at our Max B, why you do that? It's Max B and Arkatech Beatz. Not feature credit, It's not the same thing now because feature credit you don't get the benefit of monthly listeners with feature. You have to be a main artist or a collaboration artist to get that. 20% net, 10% gross. Some people go some people rich. Some labels go off of like net and gross. Net and gross royalties. I don't know why they do that. You know, like they I don't care what the artist got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like what I'm trying to make sure that I'm being removed from. I don't want to be tied into the artist's expenses. You see what I'm saying? Like if we get tied into the artist's expenses, you know that cuts into our royalty pool. And then also you have some artists that spend indiscriminately. We're trying to avoid that. You know what I'm saying? So if we can always aim for the gross, that's the best thing to do in my opinion. That's how true story. That's how our Lloyd Banks is structured. It's 20% of 20% of the gross. So what was my first major placement? My first major placement was Big Pun, Capital Punishment. That was our first one. Can you imagine? Our first one is platinum out the gate. April 28th, 1998. Remember the date. You know what I'm saying? Platinum out the gate. Did 143,000 copies the first week. Nominated for a Grammy. Nominated for the Grammy Best Rap Album. First Latino rapper to go platinum. Yeah, Big Pun's Capital Punishment. That's our first one. Then it does 2 million. Then it does 3. I'm like, I'm quitting my job, yo. I'm out of here. That's it. Then Pun called us back and said, yo, I need another one, man, for the Terror Squad album. The Triple Threat. They said, I need another one for the new album. Yeah, baby, the Leatherface. And then, you know, when he passed away during that time before that joint came out, man, rest in peace to him. Man, he grew up on Interville Ave, man. I'm from over the other side of Gun Hill Road, man. Gun Hill by the 5 train. In front of the Golden Crust. Chocolate Boy Swagger, what up, man? I didn't even see you was in here. I said, can I explain a little bit more about what music publishing is? So listen, how music publishing work is like this, man. Music publishing is basically licensing for your music. So say for example, I do a record and it's quote unquote published, right? When we say a record is published, it's basically released to the public. So we published it to the public, right? It's commercial. We put it out as published. Now we talk about music publishing. Now the question is, remember we have different mediums, right? So we put it out to the public. We're now selling the music. So now we sell the music. When we sell the music, like say for example, say you're selling tapes and CDs and vinyl. Say you're selling that. So anytime they reproduce a copy of that album, they call that a mechanical, right? That's a mechanical reproduction. So that's a reproductive right. So you have to get paid a royalty based on the reproduction of the record. So that's one set of the royalty for music publishing because now it's out. When a record is played on the radio, they have to acquire a license, and every time it's played, they have to basically acquire a license. So that's what they call a public performance royalty. Anytime it's put into a movie, it's synced or synchronized with a movie, they call that a synchronization royalty. So these are all of the places where your music can be published, and these are the places where you're able to generate income. So this is the real business of music, is every time the music is being exploited. And you have to realize that the powers that be have created a very infinite web of how to exploit music. So what they're able to do is take a singular piece of music and keep cashing it in. Cash fashioned in. Oh, put it in the movie, put it in the video game, put it over here, put it over here, play it on the radio. So now if your business is not correct, you cannot share in the exploitation of your music, right? So that's why it's very important when I tell people that they have to really understand this music publishing. Make sure they're getting this Musician's Guide to Music Publishing, making sure that they're understanding, where the money is being made. And only God knows the type of money that's going to be made from AI. We don't know what they're going to pay AI to be trained off of our copyrighted music. Because they got to find a way to get paid off of it. You can't just feed it into AI and don't get paid. There has to be some sort of fee for training an AI on your music. Pardon me. So you got to make sure that you know what it is. So I hope that I explained that to you. Chocolate Boy Swagger. What's he asking? It says, what do I put on my master before exploiting? I don't put anything on the master, brother. I don't put nothing on the master. I don't put anything on the master. I try to make sure that I'm selecting the right sounds that have the right fidelity. And then trying to mix stuff. The only thing that's probably happening is I'm putting stuff on individual tracks. There may be some EQ here, some reverb here, some delays here. Maybe compression if something is not loud enough. But that's about it. When I was using FL, I would probably use a, FL, we would have to probably put a little bit of mastering on there. Like a limiter, fruity limiter, a few other joints on there. I forget. It's been a while since I used fruity, man. I ain't gonna hold you. It's been a while. But I'd put a few joints on there, try to beef up the FL. To try to make sure that the master signal, and then also I would use I would be using IK Media T-Rax. So I was using T-Rax plugins for my my FL to make sure that I had the right mastering stuff in my signal chain for my output. And those had a lot of the stuff that I grew up using, which were like rack mount preamps, compressors, and stuff like that. They turned into digital units. The drum packs, I got a lot of waves joints as well. Yeah. As far as drum packs, man, pick your choice, man. You got drum packs from every major producer out, man. Like, just pick one, man. Pick your favorite sound, man, and run with it. You know what I'm saying? When I was in Serato, who had a dope pack? In Serato, DJ Jazzy Jeff. He had a dope pack. Like, believe it or not, he had a dope pack. He had a dope pack with a dope set of bass sounds, kicks and snares. He had like a real SP1200 type feel. Like you just don't know, man. You gotta go through everybody until you find what you like. Play the other beat. I never got a name for the other beat, Chad. What happened? I need a name for this. This one hard. Yeah, P Butcher packs, man. Whoa. Somebody said they seen a commercial with Kaya, My Neck, My Back. You know how old that song is, bro? You know how old it is, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, true story. Somebody reached out to us for the French Montana About Khadijah documentary. And, because, Max B is in the movie. Initially, they reached out to us to put Why You Do That in the film, And it was just interesting to have, gone through that process of, wanted to put that in the film and then trying to work out the numbers. Ultimately it didn't make the film, but, you know, it's just the way that your music can continue to keep on giving. You know what I'm saying? It's like that was an opportunity that was just going to come from a record that, that just happens. People sample your record. I had a record that Guru sampled, and, you get paid from it. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all hitting that like button, man. Make sure y'all sharing the live. If you're on TikTok, man, hit them roses, man. Shout out to everybody on YouTube sending the super chats. Shout out to all them folks on Twitch, Kick. I got some folks on X. We're streaming everywhere. Rumble. All at the same time. You gotta realize that Kaya record was a hit, man. You know what I'm saying? So she probably had a really, really big set of publishing on there. Hopefully she didn't sell all her publishing rights. Remember she told a portion, because sometimes people try to get an advance on the royalties because they need the bread. But hopefully, she didn't do that and just kind of let the royalties come in as they need to come in. Harmony it is.
Arkatech Beatz. Barbecue with the family at Crotona Park. You could do that at Crotona Park? Because when I used to go to Crotona Park, man, you had to carry a gun. Yo, people ask about that when that the MPC3 software dropping. Listen, man, they can drop it, but I ain't using it. Shout out to everybody that's in the live, man. Yeah, I'm using it standalone, man. Like I'm not using. Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of the computer. And the only time that I'm gonna go back into the computer is gonna be for tutorials, man. So if people want to know how to use Serato, I'll show them. If people want to try to learn rudimentary FL Studio, I'll show them. I'm not gonna be on no advanced FL Studio stuff. It's very powerful software. You know what I'm saying? Ableton is a different beast too. Powerful pieces of software. I don't knock them, but I like my hardware, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, man. I like everything in the box. I like being able to turn the knobs quick, boom, boom, boom. I know some people real quick with that FL though. I see some kids, man, killing the FL like 30-second beats, like, you know, looking at it. And I'm like, man, how you make a beat 30 seconds, man? I never used the Renaissance. I'll tell you my MPC stories. My MPC stories start very, very early on, right? And I probably shouldn't tell this story, but, you know, I tell a story. Anyhow, my parents sold a crib. You know, everybody knows that I used to have a studio in the Bronx. I used to have my studio in the Bronx in my parents' house. I used to have people come over all the time. The number one rule in the Jamaican household is that you can rap, but you can't cuss. You know, my mom's just, you know, heavy Christian, whatever. My pops really didn't really care. You know, when I say my pops didn't care, meaning that he was just happy that I was home. He didn't really want me out in the street. So he never really said anything about me having a bunch of people over. And typically, you know, older men would complain about having so many kids in their house or teenagers, you know. But anyway, I had the studio in the Bronx. My parents said, hey, we sold a house. We going to Florida. You coming? I'm like, nah, I ain't going to Florida, man. I ain't going to Fort Lauderdale. I probably should have went, though. If I'd have went to Florida, I probably would have been a trick daddy and then, right? But anyhow, they decided to sell the house. I said, nah, I can't leave. I already started. At that point, I had already started our first label, which was our first production company, which was Tyrant Entertainment. And then I had, like, for those who really, really, really follow Infinite Architects, if you go and you listen to, like, Pressure and Arafat, and then, you know, Sean Anthony Baker, like, all of these people were, like, part of the label. So, at the end of the day, they decided to move. My older brother was like, yo, you can stay with us in Long Island until you figure it out. And then, you know, shout out to my older brother, because what he did is he converted part of his garage in his house into a studio, and we were recorded out of there. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. So, you know, they really supported me. They really supported what I was doing. So I used to have all those folks used to be taking the what's the train that go from the city to Long Island? The Long Island Railroad. They used to take it all the way out to Huntington Station. You know what I mean? And then they all the artists used to still come, used to drive, and then what they would do is they would spend Friday to Sunday in there, and then we were still building all of the music. That's where we did all of the early pun, the stuff that we did with Duck Down. Shout out to Rock and them guys, you know what I'm saying, from Helter Skelter, whatever. Rest in peace, Sean Price, you know. So we did all our early music during that time. And then I wind up getting one of my first corporate jobs in upstate New York. So then I was able to kind of, I was in the private sector for a little while, you know what I'm saying, because, I was computer savvy, you know what I'm saying. But, I wind up getting a job coming straight out of college, because as soon as I finished college, my parents sold their crib. So I'm like, I'm in the middle of all of this music stuff. I had to find a way to support myself. Wind up getting this job at a IBM credit. Listen, man, you can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. I was literally working for IBM, right? Can't make this up. So I'm in the joint with like Tim's and all of that stuff. It's weird. It's wild. It's a wild story. It's wild. Trying to get myself together, trying to figure it out. We get the pun placement. Pun go platinum. I'm like, damn, pun go platinum. Ray calling. Ray want us to go on the road with him. I basically, I was like, yo, I quit my job, whatever, I'm out. But at that point, when I finally had got the job, the job was in upstate New York, and I was in Long Island, and then I was dating somebody that was in the Bronx, so I started to stay. I was staying with her for a little while until once I started kind of getting that work together, start getting my bread up. So then once I started getting my bread up, my older sister was looking to buy a house in Yonkers, and then I said, yo, can I pull in with you, because it was a duplex. She was like, yeah. So I was like, I bet. But during that time is when I bought my first MPC 2000. I needed to get to the point. It was about the MPC 2000. So I wound up buying the MPC 2000, and that's when I started to do the initial parts of the immobilarity stuff. So stuff like the beats, like the table and like Casablanca, those were originally built on MPC 2000. Then when I wound up moving to Yonkers and we put the studio in Yonkers, then I was able to bring my keyboard from Long Island and everything, my ASR, put everything up, and then we started to build the other records, like, Self-Conscious and them other joints. So my MPC story is I went from ASR to MPC 2000, and then when I started working with Ray, Power wanted us to be internal with him because he was doing the American Cream Team entertainment thing. So he had, all those guys, Lord Superb, rest in peace to him, Chip Bank, rest in peace to him, Ron Wrecker, B Twizzy. Those guys were part of the original Harlem Hoods. I don't know if you remember those records with Funkmaster Flex. So around that time, he wanted to kind of do his own thing, kind of independent from RZA in terms of building up his production team. Shout out to DJ Trife, who did like records like Power and stuff. Yes, the Sonic ASR 10. So Power put some bread into us. We upgraded to some MPC 2000 XLs, and then I used that in tandem with the ASR. So ASR and an MPC. So and I got that combination from watching DR Period. Shout out to him. I wound up going to his studio and seeing what he was using. He was using an Ensoniq EPS 16 and an MPC 60 or 3000, something like that. So it's like, just going all over the place and trying to find a thing that worked best for us. At the time, it was the MPC 2000. I never got a chance to go to the 3000, never got a chance to go to the Renaissance. I didn't get a chance to do those. And then after I was using the MPC, up until when I wind up getting to Atlanta, and then after we did Walker's Power of My Pen, and we was in the studio with Walker and Southside, and I was playing some beats we were playing some beats for Walker, and Walker was like, "Yo, I really like these beats," but the 808s wasn't really doing what it needed to do, and he was like, "Yo, I want you to really get with Southside." And at the time, he was kind of resistant to doing that. I don't know why, but shout out to him, man. But he was using FL, and then because they were using FL, that's when I started how to play with FL, because I'm like, man, how can we get this sound? How can we get this sound? And then us working with Shorty Low was another eye opener. Cause again, we were using MPCs, and then he wanted to do certain things with 808s that we just couldn't get it. We couldn't get the sound. You know what I'm saying? So I had to switch to FL. I remember Ivory. That was on Loud Records. Yo, so everybody that uses FL Studio, man, y'all know that FL Studio has a certain EQ in there that guys are using to really get their 808s to go crazy. Lex Luger and these guys. Shout out to all of these guys, man. Oh, Lex Luger, Southside, Mike Will made it. You know what I mean? Early on ArkatechBeatz.com, if you use like maybe Wayback Engine, you'll be able to see like all of the interviews that we were doing with these guys when they were coming up. You know what I mean? We used to interview them, So like we interviewed like Southside. Who else? We interviewed Mike Will. And Mike Will had just did the first Rick Ross record, and he was really bubbling at the time. You know what I mean? So we was able to see the guys before they was on their way up. You know what I mean? We was kind of giving them the platform, and really just giving them their flowers, because we wanted something that would basically highlight what producers were doing. But FL has these, these filters and these EQs, man, that can turn that between that and the distortion things that it can do. It was really changing the dynamics of 808s and kick drums, man. Yeah, man. Like, those are the guys that were really instrumental in bringing it to the forefront. Like, shout out to Knife Wonder on that. But the trap guys, the guys that was doing the trap music, man, listen. Like, if I had really known that it was going to do what it did, like, it really, really went crazy, And me coming to Atlanta is when I really started to realize, like, me and Mike used to come down to Atlanta like 2007. And this is right before we started to work with like Shorty Low, and Shorty Low had the the Dano, you know what I'm saying? And them clubs were going crazy, bro. Like, them clubs was going crazy. Like, you can't make this up. Like, what we were seeing was like, it was phenomenal. And it was like the feeling that I was seeing in the clubs in Atlanta back then. And it was different because I was in the clubs, briefly when Ray used to be out here recording. We used to go to like Kaya and 112 and all of those type of places. And I was kind of getting the vibe, but I was kind of ignoring it because I was with Wu-Tang. I'm like, man, this is all right, but this ain't really gonna go nowhere. This is just their situation. Oh boy, was I wrong, right? Not realizing that I was gonna wind up coming out here, living out here, making a life out here. I didn't know that, but if I had thought about it and I thought forward,
I would have taken my bread and I would have definitely invested down here. Because we would have been looking at a whole different story right now. Yeah, little did we know. And listen, they went on an incredible run, 20 years. It's a 20-year South run, if you think about it, man. Maybe from like 05 to 2025. It's a run. Right about now, it's coming to a little bit of it's coming to a little bit of it's switching over a little bit, but it's a long run, man. Can't knock it though, man. Somebody make some dope music. Nah, the FL was able to bring up that low end, man. It was like the low end. It's able to like do stuff with the low end, and then they got these distortion mechanisms. Like you can make stuff rattle and roll, and it's definitely something that you have to play with to see what it does. David, I appreciate that. Wait a second. We missed something here. David Gaiman is asking me, do I work with R&B artists? David, yeah, I work with R&B artists. One of the R&B artists that we've worked with is Grammy Award-winning vocalist Maya, Lady Marmalade. That's not our record, that's Rockwall's record, but we got a few records with Maya. Shout out to her. Shout out to Kim Thomas. Hero said light flex.
Light flex. Listen, working with her was really dope, man. Like, we was able to get into the lab and we was able to create something, man. And the record that we did, man, is with her and Shorty Low, man. She sang the hook on the song for Shorty Low, man, before he passed away, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a dope record. Go check it out. It's Maya and Shorty Low. It's called about my bi. If you're into that, down south type vibe, you know. She had that album she has it on her album called Beauty in the Streets. And then we got another song that we did with her on her Sugar and Spice album, which is called Back to Disco. We did a remix with Young Jock, but we never released it. I still have it somewhere in my archive. So, but the other record is out. So both of those records are out. You can check them out. And then I got another record from her called, that we did, but it's unreleased. It's called Born a Star. And it has like this illest Barry White sample. It's so ill. So ill. But we couldn't get it to clear. You see what I'm saying? I tell people, don't use those damn unclearable ass samples. No, rather, this is what I shouldn't say. I shouldn't say that we couldn't get it to clear. Is that because, she's fully independent and she's been fully independent for quite some time. She just didn't see she didn't see the ROI to clear a record that wasn't going to be quote unquote a single. So, she kind of decided not to clear it at the time. Now, it may be something that we can revisit if we can reproduce it, make it up to date, but we'll see. Shout out to Kim Thomas for the gift, man. I appreciate you. I see you. I was working on something last night. It was late though. Shout out to you, David. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I know people know the music, but people don't know us. And that's part of the reason why we're doing these lives now, man. Yeah, like you know our music, but you just like don't know us. It's like, oh, I listen to that Big Pun song, or I listen to that Max B song, or I listen to that Prodigy or Mobb Deep and Nas. Like, I've heard it. Like, people will say I heard on your records, but I just don't know that you did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. That's what the internet can help to change for a lot of people. It's to get yourself out there. So I had this other beat, right, that I did. Producers are like NFL players. We got to change that, man. That's the thing. Yeah, nobody know what you look like, right? They just know that you're some sort of athlete, right? You're some sort of something. Ever, what up? Working on that last night, man, but I couldn't. It was just a groove, and just a groove, and I said, yeah, we make a lot of beats, Evan. So I don't know, man. Like, I'm having a hard time keeping up myself, man. We day 40, and I know I did more than 40 beats because I'm typically doing 2 or 3 a night. You know what I'm saying? So we probably 80 beats in. I just have to go make sure it was stuck in my head. Oh man, there'd be so many dope ones, man.
Wild card. This is a sound, right? When I hear stuff like that, I can think of like the weekend. You know, this is what I wish I could sing. You know what I'm saying? I've been wanting to sing now. You know what I'm saying? It's not my thing. Yeah, David. There's the instrumentals there. I'll put more reverb on my voice and auto tune. And I guess what I want to use this as an illustration as listen, man. Once you train your ear, and that's just another part of this thing that I want folks to kind of pay attention to. You know, once we train your ear, it translates to other genres, man. It's just not, yeah, we can do that. You know what I'm saying? But we could also do this. You know what I'm saying? And if you think about it, because we're using samples, you know what I'm saying? It's like it opens us up to everything. So we just have to be able to identify what sounds good. You know what I'm saying? And who does it sound like, or who does it remind you of? You know what I mean? And then what we try to do now is we try to, do something now like it may remind us of that, but it's our job now to make it our own. You know what I mean? So it's not up to us to follow down the weekend rabbit hole, but if we're building something that has the same feel or in the same vein, right? Then potentially it has the same value, right? So remember, that's a diamond artist, So if you're making music that reminds people of a diamond artist, The Weeknd, Bruno Mars, stuff like that, remember what you're opening yourself up to. To how the drums are going. We want to pay attention to the sounds. We want to pay attention to the hi-hats that are being used. We want to pay attention to the effects that's on the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Some of this stuff is just regular loops. Some of this stuff is samples. You want to pay attention to all of those things so that you understand, what it will take to basically develop a sound in that vein. If somebody was coming to you and say, hey, I want something that sounds a little bit like this, we're supposed to train ourselves and say, okay, I know where I can get that type of sound from, or how to get to that sound. So I call that beat Lights, and I didn't do anything else to it. I have to sit with it and then kind of get an idea of where do I want it to go. Nah, ain't no reference track out there. Not with me on it, brother. Not with me on it. Listen, man. Yo, listen. You won't even find a high school graduation picture of me, man. And that's how much I already knew what I was going to do. By the time I got to my senior year of high school, I was already I was well aware of what was going to happen. But it took some tragedy to get there because right before the summer, before my senior year of high school, I lost a friend. A friend of mine was murdered. The gang violence. So
Went to a party. We got into a fight with a rival cats. Cats came back, shot up the party. He wound up dying, got shot in the neck. So, rest in peace to Box. So that that event of that summer, because that was a party that I was supposed to go to, but my mom told me that I couldn't go to that party, and I didn't go. So and then the hood came back and was like, "Yo, this what happened last night," and that turned into a whole other type of thing. But that was like I'm 16 going on 17, and having to go through my first wake, going through my first funeral, and I walked to the funeral home by myself. Like my parents didn't go with me. Like when we talk about when they talk about us as the Generation X's and like the things that we had to go through alone. You know what I mean? Like we all needed therapy back then. You know what I'm saying? Like we all needed therapy. So it's like, what I'm saying? Like those were like pivotal moments that kind of woke me up and was like, man, I gotta make sure that I'm doing something different. You know what I'm saying? Because of the way that happened, and it kind of let me understand, like, yo, what I was getting into, it wasn't gonna lead up to anything. So when I tell people like, yo, about evolution is real, it's like evolution is real. Like people really can you can have singular events that change your trajectory. And like when that happened, it was like when that happened, I'm like, we're getting ready to start back school in September. That happened in August, and we're getting ready to go to senior year of high school, and it took the gas out of us. And when I say it took the gas out of us, meaning like, we was going around terrorizing the place. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. We were terrorizing the place. And you never thought that it would get that violent or that it would go that far. You know what I mean? So once it kind of went there, I had to make that decision. Like, okay, like what's next for me? So I just remember that whole year of just really just hitting the books. Like I just hit the books. You know what I mean? Like I hit the books in a way that I didn't know that I could hit the books. Like I really just hit the books, and it was like, you go from literally failing out of school to being top of your class. Like how'd you do that? You know what I mean? But that just goes to show you that, like you can be motivated to do different things. And you can change your trajectory, man. But it's unfortunate that some of us have to go through, like what I say, like some of the hardest things before you like literally change course. So when I see a lot of these kids out here crashing out, I be like, man, listen, y'all don't understand, man. You got a lot of life to live. But a lot of us don't even believe that we can live, that long. Because if I listened to them, they was like, you wouldn't make it past 21. You know what I mean? Cause that used to be the talking point, that we wouldn't make it past 21. Now I'm here 50. Shout out to you, Cass. Tell us so when I see folks on there, here, shout out to like when I see like a Casanat and those guys coming from the Bronx. Those guys are special. You heard me? The Bronx is a special place, and anybody that come out of that place, yeah, you got a little something to you, because it's a very, 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 very hard place to get out of there. Yeah, shout out to you, Kim. You know what it is. So Kim knows me. So like, I had to, I make different switches. You know what I'm saying? I learned the code switch very well. Yo, E Santana, what up, brother? I like how that change is going. You know what I'm saying? Look, get around the right people too, man. I think that's another thing that I want to tell people, to get around the right heads. I had to build this team, man. I had to build this team, and then I told myself that I was going to build this team with folks, and everybody was looking at me like I had three heads. They're like, "Yo, you 19, man. What you talking about? You trying to build a team up?" I was combing through the Bronx like, "Yo, I'm building a team up." What you talking about? Like, "Yo, I'm gonna build a team up." Like, how you gonna do it? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna do it. Just trust me and run with me on it. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people was kind of skeptical, because they was like, "Yo, you was in them streets a little bit. Like what's really good with you?" I'm like, "Listen, yeah, we was doing all of that because we had to do all of that. That's a survival mechanism, you know what I'm saying? But I was far from stupid. So it was like, it's a survival mechanism. You got to be aggressive to survive an environment that's aggressive. You can either be oppressed or you could be an oppressor. So you got to make a decision. You make the choice. Not saying it's the best choice, but you make those choices to survive. When we start putting together the group, when we start putting together like the production company, and then I started building with a lot of different artists, start doing that type of stuff. And then when we start getting music out there, because some people was asking us like, "Yo, you don't want to produce for other artists?" I was like, "Nah, we trying to work on our little label thing." And then once we start getting the placements, we couldn't really turn back. It was like, we was talking about the biggest names ever. We were talking about, Fat Joe and these guys. We talking about, Nas. We talking about Mobb Deep. We talking about, like, you know what I'm saying? Like Wu-Tang. Like, these are the biggest guys ever. So, like, this was the pinnacle of hip hop. So when we working with all these folks, then it was crazy. And then when the money start coming, oh shit. Like, I was a young guy and I was getting a lot of money, Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. That's another reason why I wanted to start the channel and stuff. 'Cause, like, listen, you have a lot of, you can get a lot of money. And then the faster you can get it, you can burn it if you don't really know what you're doing. And that's another thing that, we try to really get people to understand. Like, listen, man, in the music business goes like this. It's up and it's down, right? You're going, if you remember the infamous Toni Braxton interview, she won Grammys one year and the next year she filed bankruptcy. Because what happens is that it's fickle. You got a hot year, you can make tons of money, and then the next year it's cold, because it's just like that. So what hindsight being 2020, when you make your money from the music business, right, or when you start making money from the music business, you want to make sure that you're buying real tangible assets, real estate, stock. For some people, like crypto. This is not financial advice, but just selling, you got to have something that's tangible, because like hitting in the music business is like hitting a lick. You know what I'm saying? If you're one of those artists that can create a situation that's real steady, and that's what we're also trying to show people, how to create a situation that has momentum and it's steady, then that's a different thing. But even when it's steady, you're still supposed to be putting your money in tangible assets. So you got something that's appreciating over time. So it's just a different type of games you want to play. And like I said, this is not financial advice. Guns and butter. believe that artists start off as producers. Some artists start off as artists and then they evolve into producers because then they start to really train their ear into what they want to hear and what they want to do. So then then they become producers. As you get more versed, then you start to know what you want to hear and what you want to tell people. Um, a lot of it is about talking the right language, man. Because it's a jargon, and I tell people that you don't have to be an expert, but you do need to be able to talk the language. Say guns and butter. Yeah, because let's think about it, right? You don't have any control over albums if an album goes platinum. We don't have control over that. There has to be certain market conditions that make an album go platinum. Like you have like think about some of your favorite artists that had dope songs that never blew up. Just think about that. You got a lot of artists that got dope albums. The album didn't really do well, or this didn't happen, or this didn't do well. It's because there's so many external factors that go into making something successful. It's like if it doesn't come out at the right time, if there's too many competing things happening, right? If you got something happening, it's literally like hitting the lotto, you know. So when you see an artist like Drake, right, that's able to do it over and over and over and over again, you gotta give it credit, man. Because when you look at that, when you look at all these other artists over all your generations, right? Like Michael Jackson couldn't do that, right? He never had a record as big as Thriller after that. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really look at that, like, Off the Wall is doing what it's doing, then Thriller goes crazy, then Bad kind of comes a little bit, Dangerous is a little, you know what I mean? Like, it's very difficult to maintain that wave for that long, or that momentum, So it's one of those things that in this business, when you get some momentum and you getting some money, listen, you got to stash that. You got to put it into something for that rainy day, because listen, it does dry up, and then when it dries up, you got to do what you got to do to kind of make it move the way it needs to move. And lucky for us, we did a lot of our records very early. Lucky for us, we got decent with our royalties and stuff like that. And then you have the choice to do things if you want to do things. If you want to go into the private sector, you do it into the private sector, And you do what you want to do. Or you want to do this, you do what you want to do. You want to work, you work. You know what I mean? But at least you're not over here, scrambling like that. Santana says people were saying that Drake was winning because of industry hypes. Listen, man, you need a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the run that Kendrick has had over the last year, what we've all come to understand is that in this business, somebody has to push your button. There is a button that gets pressed for artists. And if the button doesn't get pressed, then you can't appear everywhere. And I call it the mind control button.
Arkatech Beatz.
It's the mind control button. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, we're gonna make Sexy Red go. It's the mind control button. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it go. Now the question is, will we be listening to it? 5 years from now. When I say the mind control button, I mean like the promotion button. You know what I mean? I call it a mind control button because that's what it feels like. You know what I mean? It feels like a mind control button because we're telling you that it's hot, but you know in your heart that it's not really that hot. It's like, yo, it's okay. You know what I mean? It's not really that hot. Like are we listening to the same thing? You know, it's not moving your soul. You know what I mean? This is not a, you know, this is not a you know, this is not a thriller. You know what I mean? So, you know. So I'm not doing song reviews. I do them on ArkatechBeatz.com. We do music reviews there. We don't do any music reviews live because remember we're streaming on all platforms, and we have to be very, very mindful of copyright stuff. We have opened up the music review portal. It is open, so if you want to do a music review, you know, we do have a process that you have to go through, you know, fill out a form, and that's really just to make sure that, nobody's going to come back and say, hey, you stole my music. No, I didn't steal your music. You submitted it for a review. I didn't steal anybody's music. This is what we did. This is what the parameters are. So, you know, and then it's also, people will say, hey, you put a fee on it. Yes, because it takes time to do that, and our time is worth what it's worth. So. Yeah, man, I call it the mind control button, man, because, listen, man, people believe anything, man. Like, people believe anything. They believe anything, and they believe anything, man. Like, listen. People believe anything. If you haven't learned in the last 5 years that you're not supposed to believe nothing that these folks are saying, I can't help you. Calvin, what up, man? Warren is saying he's a 60-40 guy. He does 60% and let the label do 40%. Listen, it's more like 80-20. You know, it's more like 80-20. And the reason why I say that is this, man. Is because the way the joint is right now, it's like, yo, they don't really do anything. What happens is like this. It's like, hey, I may go to my label rep and say, hey, I got a record that we're going to put out. They'll be like, all right, here goes the schedule. They'll tell you how much lead time you need. Yeah. Then they'll be like, okay, what services do you want? And this was the joke, man. Because when I started to ask for the services, hey, I need marketing. I need to get some Facebook stuff going. And then they started to send me all of the plans for the Facebook stuff. They're sending me the keywords. They're sending me, like, the interest and all the stuff. If you know how to set up a Facebook ad, you know what I'm talking about. So, with Facebook ads, you have to kind of set your interest. You have to set your target audience and who you want your ads to show to and everything. And then, they were sending me all the information, and I was looking at my target audience and what they were sending me. And I was like, yo, this is trash. Like, what you're sending me is trash. Like, this song doesn't sound like this artist. This song doesn't have the interest of this thing. Like, how are you trying to, run this song to this demographic? And then you wonder why, you wonder why some people promotion don't work. It's because, you have to look at it and see what's happening, right? So how Facebook likes to work is Facebook works off of interest, so If a person has shown interest in something, meaning if they've liked your page, if they've been to your website, it captures that data and it creates that profile. So it's able to really succinctly find the right person if you put the right information in. So say, for example, you got a song that sounds like J. Cole, right? If you're running ads, you want to target people that like J. Cole, right? It only makes sense, right? If you got a song that sounds like J. Cole, you don't want to put a song that sounds like NBA Youngboy and you got a song that sounds like, J. Cole. It doesn't make sense. Your ads were going to waste your money, right? So once I'm going to the label situation, remember what's happening is everything is kind of a la carte. So you have to add in the marketing, you have to add this in, you have to add in the promo, and then they give you a budget, and then it comes out of your money, and then you have to recoup it. But then when I looked at it, and I'm like, yo, at the rate they want me to recoup it, right? If I got an 80-20 deal, they want me to recoup it at the 20% rate. You know how long it takes to do that? So it's like, it doesn't make any sense, man. So it's like, you're better off learning how to do these things yourself, and developing a team. And once you find like a good person that does ads, you want to hold on to that. Once you find a good person that does PR, you want to hold on to that. Once you find a good person that's good for radio, you want to hold on to that person. And then you want to be able to make sure that you're just, any income that you're making, you want to just allocate funds to those people so that you have them on tap. So listen, E Santana's asking if I'm planning on doing music reviews or I plan on doing it, listening to beats and giving thoughts and advice. Yes, but what I won't be able to do is I won't be able to do it and post it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the issue. The issue is that like Twitch, YouTube, these folks have these copyright stuff, and you don't want your channel to get striked. So what's probably going to happen is that if me and Mike start doing the reviews, we'll probably pre-record them, and they won't be live. And then what happens is we may be able to post them once we get this Patreon thing kind of done, because then that'll be behind a certain paywall, and then we don't have to worry about like copyright strikes and that type of stuff. So it'll have good behind the scenes stuff. You have to realize, man, that when we're talking about these channels, copyright is going to start becoming a big issue, especially with the AI stuff. Copyright is going to be a really big issue. Yeah, reviews for independent artists. We've opened up the portal on arkatechbeatz.com for reviews. Again, like, yeah, it's going to be a large issue for folks, man. So listen, what you do not want to do is you don't want to put yourself, or you don't want to put what we call your monetized channels at risk of copyright strikes. You just don't want to do that. Like, if you even notice, even when I'm on the live, like, I don't even use certain language. And it'd be killing me. Like, I'll be really wanting to use the language that I'll be wanting to use. But I can't use the language that I want to use, because what you don't want to do is you don't want your language, and you don't want this stuff to not be promoted by the algorithm. You don't want the copyright strikes. You don't want your content to get throttled, or say, subject to advertiser scrutiny, something like that. You know what I mean? Like for example, what I'm telling some artists, I'm working with some artists now as far as like consulting with them on their projects. And, they're sending me their music and they're sending me their videos. And I'm like, yo, bro, you flashing gang signs in this video, right? You can't have guns in the video anymore. They say, well, you can put it out. Yeah, you can put it out, but how you going to promote it? You can't run ads on this stuff. Like, you can't run ads. Like, that's the issue.
So like when you see a lot of artists that can't blow up, it's like, what kind of material you got? You got material that's not promotable. We can't promote it. One, we can't promote it, and then number two, as soon as we go to promote the music, so say for example, um, remember when Nicki Minaj was going at Megan Thee Stallion, and they had that Bigfoot record and all that stuff. I reviewed the Bigfoot record, right? I review it. I do a reaction to it. They come and they give me a copyright strike, or they say, "Oh, we're gonna take the money from your video," so that we don't do reviews or we don't promote people's music. Like that's really what's killing music. It's because we don't have the ability to promote it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm an influencer that's gonna make X amount of dollars off my video, why would I want to take that income from a copyright strike and turn it over to somebody else? So they don't even do the music reviews. They don't promote the music. How can you promote the music? The fans can't promote the music without, the sounds being muted or the video or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So the labels are being too greedy, and what they're doing is they're eliminating the largest street team ever, which is the fans. Yeah, that copyright stuff, man. You want to pay attention to the copyright stuff. That's why I want people to understand the musicians got the music copyrights. You know what I'm saying? Copyright is your greatest weapon. Because remember now, as a producer, songwriter, and artist, now as you're making those songs, you're making copyrights. So you get the same protections. You know what I'm saying? And you can exploit it the exact same way and make money the same way. So this is what we have to make sure that we're understanding. The same way it works for them, it can work for you. Remember, because now you the label. You got the music LLC, right? So now you can exploit it and you can do what you want. You can get sync. You can make sure that you got content ID. You know what I'm saying? And I can show you how to do all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And no, you don't have to go through BeatStars to get content ID. You can, but you don't have to. And you don't have to release your music on a DSP to get a content ID either. I can show you how to do that. Typically, that's how people do it. They got to release it, but sometimes you don't want to release the music that way. If you wanted to sell your beats, you want to sell your beats independent of that. And we live 2 hours, 30 minutes. We got 2 bangers. We got a good amount of likes. Thank you for the super chats, y'all. Thank you for all of the roses. Thanks to everybody that was in the live tonight. We are now after midnight. David is saying this will end your music career. What you mean? The copyright stuff? Yeah, even if I set the rules for the beats that people are gonna play, like some people don't even understand Santana. Like that's the issue. Some people don't even understand, like, yo, you can't use your beats from here or you can't do this. Some people feel like, well, I pitched it, I slowed it down, I sped it up. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just not something that I could take a risk on. Like I said, we can do it off the platform, and that's what I plan on doing, is doing it off the platform. It just won't be live. You know what I'm saying? It'll be something that me and Mike probably pre-record and then we upload it for y'all to comment, and then we can respond to it that way. Yeah, it may mitigate it, but again, you can't take the risk. Yeah, you don't want to take the risk. Like you don't want to take the risk. Like that's really the main thing. You know what I'm saying? Is if I said to somebody the other day, like somebody was submitting a song for a project that I was working on, and I said, "Yo, do you own 100% of the record?" And they like, "Yeah, I own the record." Like, you produced the beat? No. Did you pay the producer? Did you get an exclusive? Pay the producer outright? No. So you don't own 100% of the beat. You don't own 100% of the record.
You might be able to control the record as the artist, but you don't own 100% of the record. You know what I mean? So if anybody wants to use this song, and if somebody wants to come back and say to me, hey, you're using my song unauthorized, they would have a claim. Yeah, you got to get paperwork, bro. Like, I know people don't want to deal with paperwork, but you got to get paperwork, man. Yeah, if you're not, it's just coming from TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Say he created an album with a verbal or handshake, and then they got cold feet. Like, listen, you gotta get paperwork. Like, yeah, you could start to claim a beat. You can claim a copyright without a beat being registered. But let me tell you something. Um, YouTube is real funny. Like, YouTube is real funny. For example, um, say you use a record, say you use a sample from Splice, and a guy used the record, and he signed to Warner Brothers. And then Warner tries to claim the record, even though it's a Splice sample. You can't claim the record. Warner Brothers can't claim the record exclusively because it's being derived from a sample. You know what I'm saying? But you have to have your documentation to prove that you can use that you have permission to use the record. So yes, you can claim a copyright, but if you don't have a registration, how do you prove that you own it? In a case where there's a discrepancy or a dispute, you do need to have that registration to be able to prove that you copyrighted the song, or copyrighted the beat. You know what I mean? So anytime that there's a dispute, them folks want that registration. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, they don't like. Let me tell you, man. We had a situation. We had a copyright dispute with a label, and listen, they're so brazen that they won't even respond. They'll know. They know that they wrong, but they know that they know that if you don't have that registration, them folks will act like they ain't do nothing wrong. They act like they own it. Nah, stuff like copyright, stuff like hi hats and stuff, you don't have to worry about that being considered copyright. Drums, like individual sounds, like a horn here, that. But once you start having melodies, that's what you got to pay attention to. Well, remember the drum break is a little bit different now, right? Because if it's a drum break that's actually in a record, if it's a drum break, like, remember what they can, some people can come and get you for them drum breaks. Remember, like, how they did with those folks who did the reggaeton records. Um, like those guys that were claiming that, hey, all the reggaeton records that were done off our drum beat, we own it. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big issue. So even with drum breaks, if it's identifiable drum break, that creates an issue. So my suggestion is that if you're going to use a drum break, you're supposed to take the drum break and supposed to you're supposed to take it and kind of cut it up a little bit. Nah, it's not the same with a drum kit, man. Some drum kits have drum kits are different from using drum breaks. You know what I'm saying? A drum break, um, like if like, for example, like, say for example, we got like Mary Jane Girl all night long. Boom, tat, boom, tat, boom, tat. I'm going to give it to you. You know what I mean? You know that that's Rick James. You know what I'm saying? So I could take those drums and you can probably reprogram them. But if you take the exact same loop, that's considered sampling, and them guys are gonna come for that. Yeah, if they're royalty-free drum samples, you're all good. Or you can actually take the individual sound, the kick and the snare, and you can reprogram it. But remember, yeah, interpolation. You know what I'm saying? you can trust and believe that them folks, if they want to come for you, they can. And you know what you guys want to look at too? If you have a chance, you might want to look at the Pharrell and what's his name? You know that record, the Blurred Lines record? You want to look at that Blurred Lines and Marvin Gaye settlement agreement. When you look at that lawsuit, you'll see like how much latitude you got. It's not a lot of latitude. Yeah, there's a lot of dope drum samples out there, man. Drum samples are different. Remember, drum breaks and drum samples are different. Drum breaks are basically samples of particular records, pieces of records that have drum breaks in the middle of it, right? And then drum samples are now somebody takes the drum break and then breaks it down to kick, snare, hi hat. You can't copyright. You can't. You don't have to worry about clearing the kick, snare, hi hat. But you do have to worry about if you take the break itself, and if you use the break in the way, if you use the break the same way that the record was originally from, you're going to have some issues with that. It's an interpolation, man. You got to clear it. And listen, there's so many. Listen, there are so many. Like, shout out to Richard on this. Richard Harmon is saying, listen, there are so many packs with royalty free. Yeah, Robin Thicke and Marvin Gaye. There are so many packs, man, that are royalty free. Like, I don't think people should really be caught up in sampling stuff like this. Like, go to the royalty free sources, man. Save yourself the drama. They're literally sounding damn near the same without you having to worry about that. Nah, you can use a sample pack. You can use a sample pack. You can use it. You can use it. Listen, you can use the drum sample packs. Like if these guys are giving you sample packs, and they've created their own drum loops and they say that they're royalty free, you can use those. What you shouldn't do is you shouldn't go sample a guy's record. That's what I'm telling you. Don't go sample a drum beat off of a guy's record and then try to use the drum beat off of a guy's record and say that, oh, I'm using this. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you go to sample people's records that are released commercially, you're putting yourself at risk. Guys that are making drum kits and drum stuff and drum packs that say that they're royalty free. Remember, you have to make sure that they also say that those royalty free. Because some of those guys make drum packs and they want to be paid and compensated like samples. So you have to read the fine print. Everybody that's in the live, make sure you're hitting the like button. And as I'm getting ready to sign off, you know what I'm saying? If y'all got any roses, please send those. Richard Harmon makes a very good point. Some sample packs will say that it's royalty free up to 1 million streams or this many units. So you got to pay attention. Remember I said some of these guys have fine print. You know So they have, you know what I'm saying? They have fine print, so you definitely want to pay attention to that. Some guys want to be credited on these joints too. You know what I'm saying? There's some royalty free sins that say, hey, you can use it, but you got to credit me. He said, you know, after midnight hours, so no. He said, these are Diddy hours. Yo, I think Diddy is cooked, man. I think he's cooked. You know, for a little while, I was like, I don't see anything going on here. Just a little guy getting his freak on. But it sounded like he's cooked, man. Like he sounded like he's cooked. It sounded like he's cooked. And you know, and you know what I really believe too? Like, this is what I believe. And y'all could tell me if I'm tripping, chat. Tell me if I'm tripping. I believe that Diddy started out one way. Started out one way in the business. Right? I think he just wanted to do the music, make some money, you know, have that little freaky deaky lifestyle that he liked to do, whatever. Right? But I believe like the Death Rows and the Jay Princes and even the Jay-Z's, you know what I'm saying? I believe that being around that element is what caused him now to, you know, turn into this other type of guy that was wilding out with guns and violence and all of this type of stuff, because I feel like he probably wasn't getting enough respect. And you know what happens, and I'm telling folks that, you know, it's New Yorker, you know, you could be oppressed or you could be an oppressor. So I believe that after him being punked by like Death Row and this and these things, I think all of those things changed this man into what he is, turned him into a monster. And then now he can't turn it off. You know what I'm saying? So now he turned himself into something else. And, you know, I'm hearing all these stories, but he got to have guns and this and that and the third. But, you know, I'm telling you that you're in an environment where, you know, I'm in Atlanta and I'm going to a studio and I got to carry a gun. Like, yeah, I got to carry a gun. It's a legal right for me to have my gun, right, here in Atlanta. But you're not carrying it because you're trying to be a tough guy. You're carrying it because you're trying to make sure that you got something to protect yourself when something pops off. You know what I'm saying? Now, the only problem with him is that he's in a state like New York where he may not have a legal firearm. If he has a legal firearm to carry it, then it's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? So this is just one of those weird things, I guess, man. Uptown Records to Bad Boy. Yeah, man. Listen, man. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Chris Lighty, man. I remember the first time meeting Chris Lighty and, you know, just kind of seeing what's going on. But I was with some guys, man, that was around Lighty and these guys, man. And these were different type of guys, just street guys, man. Like, I think you have every type of cat that's, you know, around the executive. For those who are from the Bronx and those who know about Wolf, right? Because Wolf is from my hood. If you know Wolf from my hood, then you really know what it is. You know what I'm saying? That type of guy don't hang around a guy like Puff. Unless a guy like Puff is like Wolf. You know what I mean? So you just never know. You know what I'm saying? So you just never know, man. Zach, what up? Listen, Hero, people who know Wolf, they know. Listen, he used to come through my block with another guy. Rest in peace to him. This guy named Greg McQueen. If you look that guy up, you know, he was on America's Most Wanted, for God's sake. It's like you can't make this stuff up, man. It's like you can't make this stuff up. Like you can't make it up. Like this is real. I'm a kid and I'm seeing these guys. These are street guys. These are really, really street guys. So, when I see Puff and I'm like, what's a Wolf? Wolf is a security. Wolf is a different kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? And you have to start asking yourself, is he really just this guy's security? How does this guy, who people would consider soft, right? Because you would figure he's just a music executive. He's not that type of guy. How does him and this guy have this type of relationship? This guy is an alleged shooter. You know what I mean? So how do these two connect? Like, how do these two have a relationship that even works? Or how does he have a relationship where he can be the boss of a guy that's an alleged shooter? You know what I'm saying? It goes beyond. At some cases, it goes beyond money. You know what I'm saying? Because even if you're a guy with money, a street guy is not gonna let a guy with money, mistreat him at all. You know what I mean? So it's something for us to kind of pay attention to. I believe that too. Rob Ultra saying about Michael Jackson being from Gary, Indiana. That's the hood. Listen, I believe it. I believe that Mike Jackson had that gangster in him too. Listen, it's just that they did what they needed to do. They entertained to get out of the hood. But remember, he's a hood guy still. You know what I mean? You are where you're from. You're from where you're from. So I think it is what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? But listen, y'all gotta understand, like, people that's my age, like, you have to realize that the music that Diddy did, like the music that he's responsible for, that shaped our childhood. That shaped our adulthood. Like, when we first start going to clubs, like, that was all that they played. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of your fondest memories of the club and stumbling out of the club and drinking and all this stuff that you used to have, that was the era that that he cultured, and he was part of the reason why a lot of us even got in the business. You know what I mean? And, we wanted to be in the video with Biggie with the campaign. Y'all know what it is. So what you're basically about to see is you're about to see the erasure of an icon. Like, he's going to be erased. Everything that he did is going to be they're saying every dollar that he made now is going to be part of a RICO, and the state is going to absorb all of that money. $500 million that he earned is going to be taken from him. Listen, it's like you said, it's a pattern, man. I'm concerned, Yeah, I am concerned. I'm concerned for a lot of these guys because, listen, once he's convicted, let's be clear, once he's convicted, any rapper, any athlete, anybody that flies their girlfriend from state to state to state and basically has relations and, whatever that looks like, and gives them a little bit of money to spend or whatever, that's going to be constituted as trafficking. Right? Because now you got the precedent. And remember how legal stuff works is by precedence. So once you set that precedent, whenever they want to take a person down, they're going to go that route. It's time for guys to go get married.
Hunter, man. Peace out, brother. Somebody saying that Trump's going to pardon him. If he can, listen, I see Larry Hoover got his sentence, removed. So, anything is possible, man. You know what I'm saying? And you got to realize that Trump hates that New York legal system. So he might just do that just to throw salt in their eye. So we'll see what happens. He said Travis Hunter better watch it. Listen, shout out to Travis Hunter, but I don't think Travis Hunter cares about his money. I think we care about Travis Hunter. I think we care about Travis Hunter money more than he does. I think what happens is that you got some guys. Let me tell you, you got some guys that really just believe that. Listen, if they have a young lady with them during the most trying times of their career, they feel that she's earned that. You know what I'm saying? So he feels that he is who he is because of her to some degree, or else he wouldn't do what he's doing. So he feels that he owes some of his success to her. You know what I'm saying? And we may not know the nuance behind that, meaning we don't know what she's doing to keep him motivated. We don't know what she's doing to make sure that he's ready for games. We don't know. So because we don't know that, we kind of on the outside when it comes to a Travis Hunter type guy. So I think that he's okay. Like if she leaves him tomorrow, he's okay with whatever she gets. He feels like she earned it. And, we got to be okay with that. He's a clown, right? Yo, man, some guys don't believe in the prenups, man. Some of these guys, they don't believe in that, man. Like, again, they're okay with it. They're okay with it, you know what I'm saying? They're okay with it. Like, listen, like, I've been with mine for so long. Like, if something was to happen right now, I'm like, yo, yeah, you're entitled to whatever you're entitled to. You've been with me so long. Like, you're entitled to it, like, at this point. You know what I'm saying? And remember, if he's okay with it, what you gonna do, bro? You know what I'm saying? Some guys don't care about the money, bro. Some guys do not care about the money. He clearly does not care about it. He clearly don't care about it. So we could talk about it till we blow in the face. The man don't care about that, man. Listen, he the type that she'll leave him, take half, and he'll get married again and do it again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a song by Joey Badass's girlfriend. What's her name? Soraya? She got a song called I think it's called, what's it called? It's called Your First Bad Bitch. And the way the hook goes, it goes, damn, it was hard being your first bad bitch, right? And when you listen to the song, man, it's like, you got some guys that aren't used to dealing with attractive women. And when they finally get an attractive woman, they don't know how to act. So, you know what I'm saying? So, shout out to T Hunter, man. He's married now. Congratulations to him. I hope that he puts his money in a trust and gives his money to his mama. Because if he gives his money to his mama, he don't need a prenup. Yeah, man. Listen, man. When I was 15, man, I had an older cousin, man. You know, rest in peace to him, man. I had a cousin that was 5 years older than me, man. And man, I'll tell you, like he was so sharp, bro. Like I ain't even realized how sharp homie was until I was like, yo, he used to own this building. He had bought this building. I don't even know how he did it. He got investors, and then he wound up getting like a $600,000 grant from the government. I'm 15 years old, so if I was 15 years old and I'm 50, you can imagine when he was doing this. I don't even know how he got the information. This is pre-internet, right? He bought a building, got a government grant, rehabbed it for low income. It's 148 Stuyvesant Avenue, right, in Brooklyn. It was a nine units, one storefront. And when I did my first corporation, you know, he helped me set up my first corporation when I was 18 with Tyrant Entertainment, and then we put all the business addresses there and all that other good stuff. But that was my cousin that had a little few dollars, and I was driving with him one time, and he was married for a brief second, and then he was getting divorced, and he told me something when I was 15. He said to me, he said, "Listen, man," he said, "when it's time for you to get married," he said, "you got to choose your wife like you would choose your business partner." He said, "because if it doesn't work out, you got to split everything." And I always took that with me. Like, you choose your wife like you choose your business partner. You got to realize that as much as it is about, being committed and in a relationship and all of that, is also a business transaction. You have to kind of really think about this business transaction of assets, what happens to you if you die, what happens when you have kids, and, these type of things. So he gave me that jewel when I was 15, and I never forgot it.
Arkatech Beatz.
Listen, man, that man gave me so much game, and he was so young, man. Like, I never really understood it, man. Like I didn't even know I didn't know where he got it from. I was like, But what I realize now in retrospect, because he had got me a job when I was like in my senior year of college, and he had got me a job working with an attorney, as helping him as a paralegal. And he was just like, "Yo, you know how to use the computer and stuff, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good with that. Word processing, typing, whatever. I could do all of that stuff. I knew it." He was like, "Yo, I'm gonna put you on to this guy named Carl Friedman, right?" So rest in peace to him. An attorney, used to work on Vesey Street, across the street from Wall Street, before the towers went down. And I used to have to go all the way from, Iona College in New Rochelle, catch the, get to Dyer Avenue, catch the 5 train, and go all the way downtown to damn near to Wall Street. Work with him, and then he was showing me all the legal stuff, the legal torts, and how to set up this, and Yo, man, we show people how to do anything they need to know in this music business, bro. So yeah, he was showing me all of this stuff, man. And what I start to realize in my young age at this time is like, yeah, it's really about access to information, man. It's like if I didn't have that older cousin, or he was the one that's telling me like how to set up my corporations, and then he was the one telling me about setting up non for profits and how to do this and how to do that. Like he was showing me all of this stuff, and I didn't, and I didn't know, like I didn't know how important it was. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make music. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know how important this stuff was. I didn't know how important it was to have the right kind of business structures. I didn't know it was, how to make sure that you was doing the right thing with your taxes so that you can get, maximum benefits. Like I didn't know none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like he was on game with all of that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm saying I'm 15, 16 years old, so you can do the math as to what date that was. You know what I'm saying? This is damn near late 80s, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? So how he know all of that back then? So at the end of the day, when I look at what's happening on the internet, there's no excuse for us to be going through what we're going through because we have more access to information than we ever had. We have more access to people than we ever had. You know what I'm saying? People are literally a DM away, you know? And if you have the right questions, you're good. And listen, if you got AI, Jesus Christ. Like, if y'all not using ChatGPT, you're killing me. If you guys are not using Grok, you're killing me. If you guys are not using Gemini, you're killing me. Like, you're supposed to be using this stuff. This stuff is like getting superpowers. This stuff is like superpowers, man. Like, for real, for real. So, there's so much that I want to show people, man. But again, we're going to get to it all. About to sign off. Been on this thing for 3 hours. We got 2 good bangers. This beat is called Harmony.
Arkatech Beatz.
There's a ton of game out here, man. Kaz, man, I see you, man. Zach, I see you. Hero, I see you. Rich, I see you. Rob, I see you, man. Born Ready, I see you. I appreciate all y'all. We'll be back here tomorrow. Yeah, I like that beat. That's gonna go somewhere. The question is where. We gotta figure it out. I never would think I'd ask this, but if I wanted you to produce one track and I sent you the audio track, when you say audio track, is that the audio with vocals, or are we talking about like something that's already produced with somebody else, and you say you want to redo something different? That's kind of difficult sometimes. Like you can kind of reproduce stuff with the vocals and see if it goes. Yeah, it's something that I haven't done that recently, but we can. You know what I'm saying? We can just we gotta kind of figure out what that looks like. But I need y'all to put y'all music out, man. Don't be afraid to put your music out. Do not be afraid. Put your music out, yo. F the haters. I ain't gonna hold you. These people be out here trolling. People be wanting to try to discourage you from really doing what you can do. Don't let them do that. Don't be afraid to put this music out, man. Put this music out. Don't be afraid to show people your art, your creativity. Don't be afraid.
There's a lot of suckers out here, man. Yeah, a lot of suckers. Like, a lot of suckers. People be out here. Suckers, haters. Oh yeah, that sounds like yeah, that sounds like a lot of work there, Warren. I would more so tell you to, find the music that you want and then record it that way. That's a lot easier than having somebody trying to remix it, trying to remix it. I'm probably gonna have to put a window on the YouTube chat where the folks can see not just the chat on the YouTube, but they can also see the TikTok the TikTok live chat. Cause it got to be on two screens, man. But listen, y'all, it's on X. It's on X too. Everything it's on every platform. It's on X. It's on Kick. We're on X right now. X, Kick, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Rumble. So if you're on any of those platforms, we're multi streaming to all of those places at the same time. So but I got one chat over here that has like everybody from Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and everything in one, and then I got another set here that has the live on TikTok, and then the TikTok stuff it shows me like the likes and all that other stuff. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that that we everywhere. The main thing is to be everywhere, and I would suggest that too as artists coming in. You want to be everywhere, but you do want to specialize on maybe one or two platforms. You want to post everywhere, but you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the ones that your content is resonating the most. The reason why you post everywhere is because you're trying to see what works. Some stuff work on Instagram that don't work on TikTok, and some stuff on TikTok don't work on YouTube. Like, you have to kind of determine what that is, but the only way that you can determine that is by posting on it constantly and looking at the data. So you got to do it, and then you got to review it. You got to post. You got to see the watch time. You got to see where people drop off. You got to see how many followers you're getting, if you're getting any followers, any traction. And then if you're not getting any traction, then you know where to kind of divert your attention to. Signing off, y'all. We will be back tomorrow. Make sure y'all stay safe, man. Stay away from the baby oil. Appreciate that, man. Max B, man. Wait till Max. I can't wait for Max B to come home, man. I really can't, man. Because what happens is once he comes back, then all the music starts to resurge. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a lot of people that may love that song, but just don't know that we did it. You know what I'm saying? So now when folks start to really pay attention, be like, oh, okay, he home now. Now you're going to get all this extra play and all this extra stuff that he should have gotten before, the traction on it before. So it's so crazy. Like you see like Wiz Khalifa and these guys singing that song and stuff like that. You be like, man, you see Currency and these guys loving the song. They love these records, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, sometimes you get a special one. That's a special one. That one is special. Raekwon live from New York is special. Big Pun is special. Leatherface, Capital Punishment. Those are special records, man. Prodigy, Self-Conscious. Y'all make sure y'all be safe, man. I'm about to sign off. Peace.
Arkatech